And a very pleasant good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of Tornado Talk, where we talk all things Brevard College Tornado Athletics. We're here most Monday evenings at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, live from the campus of Brevard College, Brevard, North Carolina, in the mountains of Western North Carolina. Have an exciting show on tap this evening. We'll be talking football, volleyball, as well as cycling. But before we get started, I want to thank our sponsors of Brevard College Tornado Athletics: Arby's, BSN Sports, eGolf Ford of Brevard, Hampton Inn, Ingles, Jets Pizza, Party Sports Medicine, Pepsi, Sully Steamers, Triangle Stop, and Young Transportation. Appreciate their patronage of the Brevard College Tornado Athletics and their support. And do want to specially recognize Party Sports Medicine, Southeastern Sports Medicine, and Orthopedics for being the official healthcare provider for Brevard College Athletics. In addition to the outstanding quality of care provided by the orthopedic doctors, Party also offers care in the areas of oncology, cardiovascular, primary care, and several subspecialties. Party Sports Medicine, they are proud sponsors of Brevard College Athletics, and we are thrilled to have them as a partner here at Brevard College. Well, want to catch you up around the land of the Tornadoes. First, men's soccer, big win last week, 3-0 over Berea. Really, the Tornadoes flexing their muscle at Ives Lamel Family Field. For his performance in that one, Ryan Lynch, who had a role in all the goals scored in that game, 2 goals and an assist. He wins the USA South Conference Player of the Week, second straight week that Lynch has won that award. So congratulations to Ryan and the men's soccer team. The Tornadoes will be back in action this week, Wednesday, 4 p.m. versus Asbury, right here at Ives Lamel Family Field. And also the reserves men's soccer team will be in action on Thursday night at 7 p.m. The men's team then will travel to Virginia to take on Southern Virginia this weekend for the USA South Conference opener. Women's soccer, a big 7-0 win over Toccoa Falls last week. And this, by the way, Coach Juan Mascaro Sr., his 50th career win with BC women's soccer. So congratulations to Coach Mascaro, the all-time winningest women's soccer coach here at Brevard. Mackenzie Lozano was named USA South Defender of the Week, the freshman for the Tornadoes. A very impressive performance, shutting down Toccoa Falls. She's out of St. Petersburg, Florida. And then Chiara Porcelli, the USA South Rookie of the Week, also for her performance against Toccoa Falls. The Tornadoes lost a tough one at NC Wesleyan in the USA South Conference opener, but they're going to try to get back in the winning ways at Berea tomorrow in Berea, Kentucky. Then USA South Conference play continues at Meredith this weekend. Next home game for the Tornadoes women's soccer team, BC versus Greensboro next Tuesday, October the 4th, 6 p.m. Cross country, their next event will be at the Royals Cross Country Classic, October 7th in Charlotte. So if you're down in the Charlotte area, you might want to check out the Tornado cross country team. Cycling, we'll be talking some mountain biking later in the show. They have been racking up the podiums this past weekend at Banner Elk, North Carolina, an event hosted by Lise McCrae. And then they'll be back in action on the mountain bikes in DeMorris, Georgia, a event hosted by Piedmont this weekend. Football, the Tornadoes will host Greensboro this Saturday at 2 p.m. We have Coach Khayat, he will be joining the show shortly to talk about that matchup. JV football will be versus Palmetto Prep on Sunday at 2 p.m. And then the homecoming game for the Tornadoes, mark your calendars, Saturday, October the 8th versus Methodist. Volleyball, they hit the road once again, a USA South Conference tri-match on Saturday, a quad match on Saturday in Buena Vista, Virginia. Volleyball then will return home versus Salem on Tuesday, October the 4th at the Bosch. So a lot going on, as always, at this time of year for the Tornadoes. And with that, we're going to dive into football and bring in our first guest of the evening. Head football coach Bill Khayat has joined the show. Coach Khayat, thanks for joining the program.
Good evening to you, Phil. I appreciate you having me.
Always a pleasure. Well, last week we spoke about what a bye week looks like. Now we're heading into the season opener for the conference schedule versus Greensboro, 2 p.m. on Saturday. Can you catch us up on this week's preparation?
Well, it really started with our mental preparation because, our state of mind is exactly what it should be when you think about the fact that we have not won a football game in over 10 months. Now, that sounds terrible when you put it out like that, but those are the facts. And because of that, our players' confidence and morale is not anywhere where it needs to be to achieve victory this weekend against Greensboro. So the plan during the past week of practice during the bye and leading into this week is to make football enjoyable again for the players. A lot of these guys have forgotten the taste of victory, the exhilaration of winning a game. And I just wanted them to get back to the roots of why they play. They should only be playing football because it is fun for them to play. They enjoy and savor every moment of it. So we kind of structured our practices as such rather than the daily grind that you really need. There's a lot of repetition that is involved that is necessary to win on Saturdays, but we kind of scaled back from that a little bit so that we made them just a little bit more enjoyable, fun, if you will, to make these players realize that, hey, we are good football players. We can win games, and we are going to get back on that track and get back to the winning ways that Brevard has experienced for the last several seasons.
And Coach, we talked about it a little bit last week, but would love to expound on it. This idea of the conference season beginning and all the goals still being ahead of the Tornadoes.
Exactly. So there is proven history and recent history since I've been here at Brevard that there are teams that have gone winless out of the conference, but it was great preparation for them in the conference because the way the system works for us in the USA South for football, one team goes, and that's the team that wins the conference, regardless of what that out of conference final record ended up being. So a 3-0 out of conference record does not get us any closer than an 0-3 out of conference record to winning the conference championship. Now, does the preparation look a little better and sound like it should be better? Of course, but it also depends on the teams and the interactions and all the things that took place during that time. So this was a perfect week for us to have the bye because we were beaten and battered and bruised, and there were a lot of people and major components missing from our team over the past several weeks of playing. So for the most part, we will have a large group back and prepared and ready to go for this week. And we can only play, you hear it all the time in sports, you can only play one game at a time. So it matters not who the future opponents are, what the schedule looks like, who's home, who's away, who play. None of that matters. At this point, everyone controls their own destiny other than the teams that did play last week that lost. So for us, we didn't play in round one of week one within the conference. So we control everything at this point. If we win every game, then we're all set. So that's really where we're going to start off is we got one game. That game is Greensboro. It's at 2:00 on Saturday. And when the final whistle blows, the score will be in favor of Brevard College.
Now, this year's squad, training camp throughout August, an entire September of games as well. You've been with this group with quite a long time now, and I'm sure I've gotten to know the roster and the ins and outs of this team. Can you tell us, what those learnings are in terms of the strengths of this year's squad and also the things that, you all are looking to continue to work on heading into conference play?
Well, the strength really for me is two words, and this somewhat can go hand in hand, is camaraderie, which is a common term in sports. But if you don't have that in a team sport, camaraderie, you really have no chance whatsoever. And it goes hand in hand kind of with unity. And this is the most unified team that I've had. We've had some great players over the years, numerous accolades, national stage, all sorts of things. But there was a lot more selfishness than I would like to see on a team. Now we have players that are out there that are truly playing their role and doing what it is that is asked of them. And, to see this group of guys that have grown together over this time, they share similar experiences, they have so much in common that they really pull for one another now, rather than pulling for themselves so that they individually earn an accolade or they individually get some type of recognition. Now we have it as a group where everyone is trying to encourage one another to make sure that the best possible outcome will happen for us. So that to me is really the highlight, and just the overall character of the team. I'm proud to say that these guys play for me, that we brought them here to Brevard College, and they're just a wonderful fit as players, human beings, students. Everything from that aspect has just grown exponentially since where we began. So that's the part that I'm really excited about. When it comes to things to work on, we have so many players in more grand roles on Saturday. So everybody's role is extremely important. It's just sometimes on Saturdays, the role, it could be limited, it could be moderate, or it could be great. And we have players now that we're asking a lot out of that in the past, they may not have had to do that much work on actual game day. So everyone's just kind of finding their way, because in the past it was, okay, I don't know if I can make this play. I'll let him make the play. He's the All-American. He's the All-Conference player. And now, wait a minute. I'm the one that needs to step up and make that play. I've got to do something I've never had to do before. Okay, now I understand my role and I know what's being asked of me. So a lot of players were just finding their way during those 3 weeks. And that's why, I wasn't concerned during that 3-week stretch. I mean, it's difficult for fans to watch because you want the wins, you want the victories, you want the victories, you want the victories. But most people are looking at the victories of the scoreboard and the style of play, when as a coach, you're really deep into the analyzing everything that's taken place. So for us as coaches, we actually are pleased with the growth and development that has taken place, which will continue to do so. But now we're out of time. So now, what is our product right now? So now we've got to be able to win, even if we do have shortcomings, continue to work on those. But at least even with any shortcomings we may have, we can still gain a victory.
Outstanding, Coach. Appreciate that answer. So this Saturday versus Greensboro, finally back home at Islamel Family Field, a 2 p.m. kickoff. Fans, come on out for this one this weekend, and conference opener for the Tornadoes. But help us dive into the X's and O's a little. Tell us about this matchup versus Greensboro.
Well, Greensboro, if you take a look at the statistical information, you will see that they put a lot of points on the board and have a high-powered offense. That is really the strength of their team. They have a quarterback that's been taking a lot of snaps for them over the years. He's developed significantly during his time. So you'll see him as the leading passer, touchdown leader. He gets the ball, distributes it to a lot of different receivers. So, for those that'll be at the game or watching it online, you'll see that they rear back and they throw the ball, they throw the ball, they throw the ball. Because at some point, it'll either be a pass interference on the defense or a big play. And, if not, then the quarterback can get out there and run. So that's really the main thing that we need to do with this Greensboro team, is slow down that offense. Because for us, we've been trying to find our way offensively, and obviously we've been struggling to score points. So this could get into quite the battle when you have one team that struggles to score points and one team that hasn't had an issue against some formidable opponents, mind you. So that's really the main aspect. Defensively for us is to slow down the quarterback. Offensively is to get this locomotive rolling. So, we have a long history of 500 yards a game, 400 yards a game, rushing for 300 yards. And we just got to get back to what we do well. We searched over 3 weeks to find, okay, what is our identity? What do we really do well? Who are the guys that can help us? But now we've got to set that in stone and say, we're going to go with it. And so, the plan is to make sure that we score some points this week. Because it really can deflate players when you don't score a point, you got to punt again, and you don't score a point, and you got to punt again, because that will deflate both the defense and the offense. So that's really the overall plan. Obviously, there's a lot more specifics that are a part of it, but that would be a broad stroke of what it is that we're looking to do this weekend. Now, that may all go out the window if Ian has anything to say about it with the possible weather conditions for the weekend. So, of course, that's when the coaching comes in and we make the game day adjustments.
Well, a long time coming. The last time we saw the tornadoes at Ives Linnell Family Field, September 3rd, so nearly a full month between home games, and can't wait to get back out there and see the tornadoes in action versus Greensboro, 2 p.m. this weekend at Ives Linnell Family Field. Coach, stick with us just a couple more moments here. We're going to bring in our student athlete guests from the football program. As joining the program now, Todd Norman and Luke Dodson. Before we let you go, Coach, help us introduce these two fine student athletes to NATO Nation.
Will do. All right, I'll start with Todd Norman. So in this day and age with the young men that we work with, oftentimes we find them all looking for immediate satisfaction. Everybody wants it now. Whatever it is, it's got to happen now. And Todd understood the power of development. So when he first came here, he did not start as a true freshman first play out there. He learned under Everett Lindsay. He watched the other players out there, one now as a coach for us, Coach Eubanks, and watched the position, learned the position, prepared every week as if he were going to play. And when the opportunity arose for him to step in, he did, and his career took off from there. And now he has blossomed into a player that we could not run a single play without his presence on the field. So I'm sure you're going to get into that discussion with him. But before the quarterback starts doing all that talking that you hear, Todd Norman has to direct all of the traffic. He is the key to the communication before the quarterback starts his cadence, starts talking about anything. So an incredibly important role that a lot of people that aren't super deep into football would know. So I'm just very proud of his development. And that's what I think really brings us the opportunity for a championship, is having Todd play center for us. When it comes to Luke, okay, for him, the grass is always greener on the other side. It seems like people always looking somewhere else for something better. And it's been very difficult for us to get players from Brevard High School because they always think somewhere else is better. Well, I got one man that understands the beauty and majesty of Brevard, and that's Luke Dodson. And, so we were so excited that he chose Brevard to play his football in college. And if you're looking for a guy to bring his hard hat and his lunch pail to work every day, that's Luke Dodson. And he is truly a fighter. And I think once you delve a little deeper into his story, you'll see what an incredible man he is for his volunteer time. He really does have a servant's heart. And I think that people can't grasp that a football player can be that kind of a person, but at the same time be one mean person out on the football field, because he will lower the boom on you if you get anywhere near him on that football field.
Very good, Coach. Well, really appreciate those words, and best of luck this week with the remaining preparation for Greensboro. We'll see you there at Ives Linnell Family Field, 2 p.m. this Saturday.
You got to appreciate it. Thanks for having me on, Phil.
All right, there he goes, Coach Bill Khayat. And hey, talking about two gentlemen who are preparing for Saturday, Todd Norman and Luke Dodson have entered the building. Todd, thanks for joining the program.
Thanks for having me.
Luke, welcome aboard Tornado Talk.
Thank you, sir.
Well, Luke, let's start with you. Coach set us up well there out of Brevard, North Carolina. And Luke, you stayed home. You made the decision to stick right here at Brevard College and get after it here with the Tornadoes. Can you talk about what it's like to be, a hometown product and then playing here at Brevard College? What's that like for you?
Yeah, it's a little different, because I stay at home instead of living on campus. But, I still get the joys of experiencing the college life. I can still go back home or go to the football games on Friday and see everybody I love and get talked about what I'm getting to do as a college football player. Because, I actually was the only one out of my high school class that graduated that went and played college football. So I'm just blessed every day that I can play college football and do it here in my hometown and get to play in front of everybody I know.
Very good. And Todd Norman out of the Charlotte area, Mooresville, North Carolina. And, we'd love to hear about your journey. How'd you find Brevard College, Todd?
So I found Brevard. One of the coaches came by my school and I took a tour and I fell in love with it up here and the atmosphere. And I fell in love with all the coaches. And like Luke, I'm the only last person in my high school class playing college football. So I'm just blessed to be here. I've been blessed for the past 4 years and getting to play here.
And let's stick with you, Todd. A big member of that offensive line. You've been at it for, your whole career here. Talk about what it's been like to work under Coach Everett Lindsay. This guy's got NFL experience in his background, was a big time player in the SEC, has all sorts of knowledge how that offensive line works. What's it like to be part of the line and how close you guys are as a group, but also working under Coach Lindsay?
It's been wonderful under Coach Lindsay, just from like everything I've learned, because he's basically seen everything that could happen on the football field for an offensive lineman. So just learning under him it's given me an amazing opportunity to learn. And now when I start watching other games, it's easier for me to see what the defense is going to do from what he has taught me. And then the offensive line together, we're always doing something together. We're always working out. We're always hanging out, just trying to get a big bond together as one.
And Luke, love to hear from you as far as the defensive side of the ball and sort of your mentality over there and, what you guys try to bring to the table on defense. Tell us about that defense and what it's like to be a member of the Tornadoes D.
It's a truly a brotherhood. We break it down every day on family, a couple other ones, but that all means the same. We're all going to try and make a bond. Like Todd said, we're always not just D-line, but linebackers, safeties, corners. We're all hanging out together, bonding, getting closer. And, we try to, if you're going to come into our house or we go to your house, we're going to bring it to you. You better be ready. And that's what we try to do every week.
Yeah, and what's it like? So you guys go head to head against each other all the time, O-line versus D-line. Luke, what's it like to battle against an O-line like the ones the Tornadoes has and practice day in, day out?
It's fun. You actually get to go against somebody who's just the same level, if not better than you. Todd's one of the best in our conference to do it, and I enjoy to go against him and everybody else that's on our O-line. It makes me better and everybody else better.
And same thing for you guys on the O-line, Todd. I would imagine between the defensive linemen and linebackers, not to mention some blitzes from the secondary, you got your hands full trying to contain that Tornado defense in practice.
Yeah, and I think one of the best things is at practice is we've all been together for so long, because when we came in, we all stayed, so we get to see each other throughout these 4 years I've been here, and just knowing the other guy in front of me, and he's going to give me his best, and I'm going to give him my best, and we're going to see what happens. He's going to win, I'm going to win, but it's all a brotherhood at the end of the day.
One more football question for you, Todd, which is, on that offensive line, you've played different positions. You've been called into different roles, including, this latest role. Can you talk about that as far as, what it takes to play the different positions along the offensive line and, how you're able to pull it off?
Yeah, well, I remember coming in as a freshman, I got here and I was told, know every position, because you don't know when your number is going to be called, and they got to trust you to go in, so know every position. So I came in here as a guard, and last year I got moved over to center, and I knew what I was doing, studied the playbook, and just knowing each position is going to get you on the field more because they trust you and you know everything. So it's good to know every position. So if you have to transfer over, you can.
And Luke, I see you nod in your head. I'm sure the same applies on the defensive side of the ball, not to mention being called into special teams at times. Tell us a little bit about, some of the versatility that you've encountered.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm been D-line basically all 3 years that I've been here. And our coach Eubanks and Coach Crawford, they said the exact same thing. Know every position, because we're running different schemes and it requires different people and different body types. And you're, like Todd said, your number can be called at any time, and you got to be ready to go.
Yeah, well said. Luke, let's stick with you. Coach mentioned it, your, heart and soul, with this community service side of things. Please tell us about some of the projects that you've worked on over the years and, how meaningful it is for you and also your teammates to get involved in the community.
Oh yeah, it means so much to me. One of the main things I do is, and we got to do here recently as a team was we got to go help with the youth football. We did the chains, got to do their water. I think Brady Penn done a great job announcing one of the games. But I enjoy that. I love giving back a community that's given me so much, and I've just loved giving back to it. I've also carried trunks for different camps. I think Camp Elahi was the one I've done the main for in high school. But I just back to it. I love giving back to this community that's given me so much.
And Todd, I know it's gratifying for you guys as a team when you're able to, take part in some of these projects. Tell our listeners and maybe some of the younger viewers and listeners, we get high school students who are thinking about, playing NCAA Division III ball. How important that is, to bond with your team through community service and to give back to the community and how that helps shape you.
Well, I think it's very important because, this community that you're playing at supports you. And with the community service, like Luke was talking about with the Little League, when we went, it made me remember all those good memories I had playing Little League and that I got to tell some of the guys that were there about. And it just brings us together more because then they'll start telling stories about when they did it, and it just went on and on. So I think it's a very important thing.
All right, just a couple more before we let you guys go to continue preparation for Greensboro. Todd, tell us what you got going in the classroom.
Classroom, I am a history major. And once I graduate, I plan on going back home and being a high school history teacher and coaching high school football.
Outstanding. And Luke, how about yourself? What are you up to academically?
Currently, I'm a criminal justice major, thinking about adding a pre-law minor to it. After college, graduation, I'm looking to go through BLET and then going and possibly joining the local sheriff's office and staying around here possibly.
Very good. Luke Dodson and Todd Norman, really appreciate all that you guys do as well-rounded student athletes here at Brevard College. Before we let you go, want to give you each the opportunity for any shout outs, thank yous, anybody who may be watching the program, anybody you just want to give a hat tip to. Luke Dodson, the floor is yours.
Family, friends, anybody who's ever supported me, thank y'all for everything y'all have ever done for me, helping me get places, teaching me things, especially my D-line coach from high school, Coach Bryson. I wouldn't be the player I am without you, anybody else who's coached me, and that's pretty much it.
Well said. Todd Norman, shout out or thank you.
I want to shout out my mom, my dad, my sister, my girlfriend. They all pushed me to do my best. And I want to shout out the offensive line and Coach Lindsay for everything they've taught me and all my high school coaches from back home who helped me become the person I am here today.
Very good. Todd Norman, Luke Dodson, two outstanding members of that Brevard College football team. We can't wait to see you guys back in action on Saturday at Islamel Family Field, 2 p.m. versus Greensboro. Hey, start of conference play. Just a final word, guys, as far as, maybe a little bit of sales pitch, why people should come out and see you guys this weekend. Todd?
Yeah, it's the conference opener. We had a bye week. We're all excited, ready to get after it, and it's going to be a good one.
There you go. Luke, any final word?
Adding on to what Todd said, it's going to be a good one. I think you're going to see a different team and a different game being played. It's going to be fast, physical, and it's going to be fun to watch.
Absolutely. Well, can't wait to see you guys out there. Thanks for joining the show this evening. Todd Norman and Luke Dodson from the BC football team. All right, there they go. And we're going to quickly shift gears here and bring in our next guest from the Brevard College volleyball coaching staff, a familiar name and face to members of NATO Nation, Brittany Franks, assistant volleyball coach here at Brevard College. Coach Franks, thanks for joining the show.
Thanks for having me, Phil.
Well, Coach Franks, we have spent a lot of time calling your games and following your career on the softball field, also the volleyball court. And now here you are as a member of the coaching staff here at Brevard College. Tell us kind of that progression, how that all manifested, and then ultimately, what's it like to be a member of the coaching staff now?
Yeah, I'll start off by saying never in a million years did I ever think I would be a coach. I loved being an athlete. I loved every aspect of it. I just never saw myself being in that type of role. I was able to live with Coach Party. It's weird for me to call her that. But yeah, I lived with Abby all summer. Once she got promoted to the interim head coach job, she kind of looked around at some of the other head coaches and she was like, I've seen them do it by themselves. And she's like, I'd like some help. She's like, you have some volleyball experience. She was like, I like, your organization. She's like, we work well together. Would you like the position? And at first I was like, of course, like, this is crazy. And then I kind of reflected. I was like, man, I haven't played volleyball in a long time. Like, is the IQ still there and everything? And it all came back really fast. And so I'm really enjoying it. But definitely that athlete to coach transition was something crazy. No one really tells you how much work goes behind the scenes of everything that happens. As an athlete, you make sure that you're well rested and that you're fueling your bodies. But now as a coach, I have to make sure that all 16 of our girls are doing that. And, it's a lot more responsibility, but it's also a lot of fun seeing everything from a different perspective. I definitely appreciate all my hours and the definite 5th year that I had to play college athletics.
And you mentioned it's been a little while since you saw the volleyball court. You were a libero and a defensive specialist for the Tornadoes in the 2017 and 2018 seasons. Did it take you a minute or two to kind of get up, to where you need to be in terms of the sport itself?
Absolutely, it did. I had been so consumed with softball for the past 3 years of my career. And, volleyball was never something I completely put on the back burner. I still went out and watched some games and, it's still all over my social media feeds and things like that. So I still love the sport. It was definitely something I had to work back into, especially, some of the terminology and the sport has evolved so much even since the last time I had played it. And especially with the girls here on the team at Brevard. I, never played with any of these girls either. So it was definitely building trust and connections and getting that respect from them, especially since I haven't played the sport in a while.
All right. For folks who might not be familiar with Brittany Franks, the student athlete at Brevard College, I'm going to show you off a little bit here, Brittany, for a little bit. The number of awards and accolades you garnered as a student athlete, whether it was on the field, in the classroom, in the community, all of the above, is kind of eye-popping and, it ranks very, very high as far as, just the most accomplished student athletes we've had here. You won the prestigious Edward and Brona and Roy Good Citizenship Award that was presented at commencement, Student Health Ambassador Academic Excellence Award, Campus Life Above and Beyond Student Leader Award. You were the president of SAC, the Student Athlete Advisory Committee, Vice President of SGA, President of the Student Health Ambassadors during the COVID-19 pandemic of all times, multiple-time USA South Academic All-Conference performer, member of the National Biological Honor Society, and you won the Ann Edders Award for the Department of Athletics as a sophomore, which is kind of like, the award that goes to the really well-rounded student athlete here. The accolades go on and on. Coach, with that kind of experience and that, sort of well-rounded side of things during your time here at Brevard College, what do you try to convey to your current student athletes now that you're a coach, as far as how important it is to go, beyond the volleyball court and get involved in the community and work hard in the classroom and all these things?
Yeah, Phil, that's something that I've definitely enjoyed about this aspect of coaching is I have those really good relationships with my players, and they know that they can come to me in a coach-player setting, but they also know that they can come to me in a athlete and, retired athlete kind of fashion. And so I really enjoy just being a mentor for them. I have a lot of connections still on campus, and so any way that I can help them, I really try to. And yeah, it's important to, again, like some of the football guys were talking about, give back to what's given you so much. And Brevard has given me countless opportunities. I mean, obviously look at me now, here I am, a coach. So yeah, I really just try to pour into the girls and try to help them in all aspects, even beyond being in the gym.
All right, I want to reflect back to September 3rd, because not just for yourself, your coaching debut, but also Coach Abby Pardee, her first coach in the head coaching role. And you guys got the win versus Toccoa Falls 3-1. We had a special presentation, once you guys returned to the Bosch here. But, just how meaningful was that? And maybe, you can share a little bit, as far as the emotion goes for you and Coach Pardee to get that W, to start the season off on a winning foot, but also just, as young coaches to get your first ever win.
Absolutely. It was definitely an awesome experience. It kind of took us a while to realize like we had just won like our first career games. We were in the huddle after that match exactly, and our girls were like, "Oh my gosh, y'all just had your first coaching win. Like, how does it feel?" And me and Coach Abby were like, oh yeah, that's true. Like, it feels really good." And so you hear coaches all the time say they pour their hearts and their souls and all their time and energy into the sport and into preparing for games. And I never noticed that until now. Like, there really is a lot that goes into it, and everything really paid off for us that weekend. We had been taking the team through a lot of different changes, with coaching styles, new coaches, and then to add a new conference. So there was a lot of different variables being thrown around, but our girls showed up in preseason ready to work hard, and that's exactly what they did. These girls work extremely hard. Every girl on the court earns that position, and there's plenty of them behind them that work extremely hard too, that, again, at the drop of a hat, their number can be called, and they're going into the game, and they still impress us. So having that first career win was definitely something that made all of our efforts pay off, and I think the girls felt that as well.
Back to business here, because the USA South Conference schedule just powers on, and you're at Greensboro on Wednesday, then a quad match this Saturday, Southern Virginia and Mary Baldwin up in Buena Vista, Virginia, back at home on Tuesday, October the 4th versus Salem. But we're getting deep into USA South Conference play now. Can you talk a little bit about, what you all are working on as a team at this moment, and, what's the key to getting some W's down the road here?
Yeah, 100%. A lot of our past games, the record doesn't really fall in our favor. But something me and Coach Abby have been talking about a lot is there's a lot of progress going on behind the scenes that don't show in the wins and losses. And this team has stepped up tremendously. We're making huge strides. We've competed with top teams in the conference thus far, and we're having really good sets. Again, just some of the matches aren't falling our way. And so we're really just trying to come together, figure out a way to be more consistent, find a way to really push through and finish on some of those really close sets that we fall behind to. So yeah, we're really just trying to find that missing golden nugget that we've been looking for in that last kind of puzzle piece to make everything fit together really well. But I think this team is set up very well for success, and it really just depends on when that puzzle piece comes into play that we'll kind of see that reflect in our record.
All right, Coach, you're the perfect person to ask this question, having been a student athlete for multiple sports, and now a graduate and now a coach here at Brevard College. For those who might be listening and considering different colleges around the country and so forth, why should they come to Brevard College? And even more so, why should they be part of the Brevard College volleyball program?
Yeah, well, I'll just go back to what drew me to Brevard College is I loved the sense of community here. And it's really comforting knowing that even as a student athlete and now as a coach, I can walk down any given hallway of any building. I see so many familiar faces, and I know that everyone that I see and talk to will support me and that they have my best interest, at heart. And, they really will do anything they can to help you. And so that sense of community, it goes without words, but it's really something that you have to experience and that you really do fall in love with. I don't think I've ever heard anyone complain about anyone on campus here. And so, yeah, when considering other colleges, definitely there's a college for everyone. And Brevard really has a true character of its own. So really coming to Brevard, especially stepping on campus, I think that's really what sells a lot of our student athletes, and seeing the facilities that are being updated and how much the college is giving to their students and their student athletes, and, building up these facilities. They're doing a really great job. And I think that the college is on the up and up, especially athletics, and our records kind of show that. And so hopefully that's something we get out to recruits, and that's something that they take into consideration when coming to Brevard College.
All right. Well said, Coach. I think the coaching hat suits you well, no doubt about it. Well, stick with us. We're going to bring in a couple of your student athletes from the volleyball program. Ashley Hoxit has entered the program, also Caitlin Hagarty. Coach, before we let you go, help introduce to NATO Nation these two student athletes.
Yeah, Phil, these two girls work hard, and that is an understatement. These girls show up every day. They really understand their role and what needs to, be done by them each day they step onto the court. You have Kate, who has been very consistent and really well rounded for us on the back row thus far this season, who's put up crazy numbers in serve, receive, and digs and things like that. And she's really stepped up and, again, filled the role that we needed her to fill. Ashley, coming off a great season last season, has really just kept the ball rolling, and she comes up with big swings. She's aggressive, and that's what we love to see. And so, yeah, I'm really excited to, see these girls grow. I didn't quite have the opportunity to work with them, earlier on in their careers. I've only been with them for about 2 months now, but the growth that they've, shown us thus far and their drive to want to get better and consistently showing up in the gym is really astounding, and I really commend them.
All right, Coach. Well, thanks for joining the program. Your Tornado Talk debut as a member of the coaching staff. One more first for you, Coach Franks, and really appreciate you joining the show. Best of luck this week as you guys hit the road once again for USA South Conference play, and thanks for joining the show again.
Thanks for having me, Phil. I had a great time. All
right, there she goes. And as Coach helped us introduce our two guests, in the bottom location here on your screen, Caitlin Hagarty, the junior defensive specialist from Raleigh, North Carolina, Rollsville High School. Caitlin, thanks for joining the program.
Thank you for having me.
And also wishes Ashley Hoxit, the sophomore outside hitter from just down the road, Balsam Grove, North Carolina, Rossman High School. Ashley, thanks for joining the show.
Thank you for having me.
All right, Ashley, let's start with you. Sophomore year here at Brevard College, and, a little different than being a freshman once you've got that 1 year under your belt. Tell us about, what it's like now, year 2 here at Brevard, member of the Brevard College volleyball team. How's the experience been this season?
It's been really good so far. Sophomore year is way different from freshman year. You come into this new environment. You don't really know what to expect. But I had a good year last year, and I'm having a good year this year so far. So I'm just excited to see where the team goes in the rest of conference play.
And Caitlin Hagarty, the junior defensive specialist. You all have a number of young players on this team, as well. Now that you're in this more upper class role, Caitlin, how have things shifted for you throughout your career?
Things have definitely shifted a lot, probably more than I could say, but in the best way possible, especially with the new coaches coming in the younger class. We used to be a very young team. So kind of being able to foster that environment and grow with each other has been really amazing.
All right. Well, would like to dive into sort of the X's and O's on the volleyball court as well. Caitlin, a defensive specialist back in that back row, as Coach was describing. The dig, is the statistic that we see so often. Tell us about what it's like to play that position for someone who might not be that familiar with a defensive specialist. What are, sort of the must back there on that back row?
I would definitely say the must is probably hitting the floor and giving your best effort. A lot of our job back there is just to be able to get that ball up and being able to set up for our offense to run its course. So it's kind of doing everything that we can to get those perfect passes, basically, in the simplest terms I could put it.
Yeah, I have to follow up on that because, in any given college volleyball match I've seen, there are bodies hitting the floor. I mean, these defensive specialists, the liberos are making these diving digs, and I'd love to hear as far as just that part of it. What does it take as far as that fearlessness that, hey, it's okay for me to lay out and dive here. It's what I have to do.
I definitely say probably having like the most confidence in yourself that you can, just that you can get that ball up, because the more that you hesitate, the more it's harder to execute. But I will say that it does take a lot. And sometimes the bruises, they hurt, but they're worth it, just being able to help your team out like that. So it's kind of just shaking that level of fear that you may have in your head and getting past that, just being able to do what you can for your team.
And Ashley, an outside hitter, you're up trying to finish off the play. And Caitlin talked about, the idea of passing to one another. How important are players like Caitlin as far as setting you up as a hitter?
Yeah, so our defensive specialists and liberos, pretty much anyone that plays back row, they're the first line of defense. They're the ones that usually touch the ball first. So it's really important that, they get touches, they get the ball up so that we can run our offense and score.
And then Ashley, from your perspective, what's the key to being a successful outside hitter like yourself?
It's really just the ability to do whatever you can with what set you're given. Read the court, hit around the block, just look for those open spots and take a big rip when you have the opportunity.
We had Coach Franks on the show earlier, and we were reflecting a little bit about that moment at the start of the season where Coach Franks and Coach Party both won their first career, games as coaches. Coach Franks as an assistant coach, Coach Party as the head coach. Ashley, can you reflect back on that? I know there's been a bunch of matches since, but reflecting back on that special day and just how that all went down.
Yeah. So our first matches, they were really good. After we took both the wins, we were just kind of on like a natural high. Like we were all so excited to be out on the court with our teammates, with these new coaches, and just finally getting to put it all together after working so hard in preseason.
Yeah, and Caitlin, I'm sure you remember that moment as well. Can you reflect on that and just how meaningful it meant for you guys as a team to be able to provide your coach with that first win?
Honestly, from personal experience, it was just a feeling of pure joy and excitement. Being able to secure that and knowing that we have the coaches that can supply us to succeed this season definitely was a huge step forward for us and kind of just a boost of confidence and reassurance.
All right. There's one question I've been meaning to ask, members of the volleyball team. As you guys are practicing, you've got one of the more unusual and also colorful practice gear that I've seen across all of college athletics. And for those who haven't seen the Tornadoes in a practice here at the Poshmark Gymnasium, they wear tie-dye. That's right, tie-dye from the 1960s, on the court. Caitlin, Ashley, I'd love to hear from both of you. What's up with the tie-dye? How did this come to be? And is there a story behind it? Caitlin?
So originally we came into preseason with 2 practice shirts, and we had a day where we were given the white shirts that we used from a previous camp that we did over the summer for youth, basically around Brevard. And we did it as a team bonding exercise. One day after practice, we decided to tie-dye the shirts. And I think it was really fun and kind of just good experience with each other, just kind of first into the season,
And Ashley, it seems like you guys have become used to them. Like, I see you guys wearing them all the time.
Yeah. So Abby talked to us a little bit during the beginning of like preseason. At her old school, they did tie-dye Fridays. So she just kind of like wanted to bring that idea over to us. And like Caitlin said, we tie-dyed them one day after, I believe we had like a team meeting, and we just did it as team bonding. And they're just kind of like to symbolize like, bright colors, like good energy, that kind of thing. So that's what we kind of wear them for.
All right, just a couple more before we let you all go. Ashley, tell us a little bit about how you found Brevard College. We mentioned you're from nearby Balsam Grove, North Carolina, and I'm sure that there's benefits to that. But tell us, as far as, actually coming here to Brevard College, making the decision to, stay relatively local and go to BC.
Yeah. So I first found out about Brevard College when I was in middle school. One of the girls that I really looked up to on our high school team, she actually played here her freshman year. So we all came to watch her games. And then I ended up practicing down here at the track my senior year for our track season. So that's kind of when I became more familiar with campus. And then I decided to commit here.
Very good. Love to hear the same from you, Caitlin, out of Raleigh, North Carolina. Tell us about your journey, how you found Brevard and NCAA Division III volleyball.
Yeah, so I originally was doing a lot of camps just to kind of get notice back in high school. And Brevard, one of the assistants 3 years ago now, had reached out to me, and I had never heard of it. I was kind of confused at first, but then the more that I looked into the school, I absolutely fell in love with the campus and the community. Like Coach Brittany said earlier, the knowing that you have a community that will back you no matter what and has your best interests at heart, and kind of prioritizes your academics more than anything was a major kind of thumbs up for me. So
Perfect segue, because I'd love to learn about each of your academics. Caitlin, what are you up to in the classroom?
So I am currently an exercise science major with a coaching minor. I was originally a criminal justice major, but decided to make that switch just with what I wanted to do. So I found everything just intriguing about it, and also coaching. I have coached before. My dad also coaches, so it's kind of a family thing. But I have pure joy in it, especially working with kids and even the teenager groups. You know, it's amazing just knowing that you can make such an impact on somebody. So I want to take that, but also use that in my exercise science field with hopefully getting my doctorate in physical therapy. So
Very good. Ashley, tell us what you're up to in the classroom.
I'm also an exercise science major with a minor in coaching. I fell in love with coaching this summer. I actually helped coach the youth camp that we held here. And I really just want to use my exercise science degree to kind of go further with that. I'm really into strength and conditioning, so I'm thinking about taking that route when I graduate.
Very good. Well, before we let you go, I want to give you the opportunity. Shout outs, thank yous, anyone you just want to, make sure you send some love to. Ashley, the floor is yours.
I just want to give a shout out to my friends and family. My family, they sacrificed a lot for me to be where I am at today. And my friends, they know everyone just supports me. And I want to give a huge shout out to my younger sister, Emily. Her 15th birthday is this weekend. So happy early birthday.
Very good. Caitlin, same opportunity for you.
Yeah, definitely huge shout outs to my family and my friends, especially my dad and my mom a lot. We sacrificed a lot to get where I'm at today. And I couldn't be here without either of them. And a big shout out to our coaches who have definitely flipped this program on its head for the better. So
very good. Ashley Hoxit, Caitlin Hagarty, two members of the Brevard College volleyball team, two outstanding student athletes here at Brevard College. Really enjoyed getting to know each of you a little better this evening, and can't wait to see you back in action at the Bosch. Best of luck this week. A bunch of road matches coming up for you this week as well. Ashley, Caitlin, thanks for joining the show.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for having us, Phil.
All right, there they go. And we're going to shift gears very quickly here and bring in, for the first time in the fall of 2022, our first guest from the Brevard College Cycling program. So looking forward to having some of the cyclists on the show, and joined now by Tyler Miranda. Tyler, thanks for joining the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Hey, Tyler, senior year, out of Valley City, Ohio. Have you kind of, taken a moment to realize that and to reflect on that, and like, holy smokes, we're already here senior year?
Yeah, it's pretty wild. It goes by so fast. I remember my freshman year, some seniors in the program talking about just how quick it goes by, and just how much you have to savor everything and really take advantage of every opportunity you get to have with all of your teammates. And it's definitely the truth, because it's pretty crazy looking back on how fast everything went by.
And joined now as well by Nicole Bradbury, the freshman out of Hamilton, Ontario. Nicole, thanks for joining the show.
Thanks for having me.
Well, it's great to have you, Nicole. Appreciate you joining us. And, freshman here at Brevard College, now a member of the Brevard College Cycling program as well. How has it been so far for you?
It's been a really cool experience so far, especially coming from Canada, where we don't have a lot of collegiate cycling stuff. It's like really cool to be part of a team that has like the same interests, and just like being together at races and stuff is super cool.
Yeah, and Tyler, you all already have a few races under your belt this fall. You guys have been busy hitting the road most every weekend, all in preparation for nationals. But tell us how the season's gone so far for yourself personally, but also the team.
Yeah, I mean, it's been going really well for both the team and me personally. It started off a little rough. We were supposed to go to Auburn, I believe the first weekend in September, but just because of some logistical challenges, and a lot of the team had some sickness that week, so it just made it a little bit of tough, and we decided not to go. I actually had COVID that week, So it was kind of annoying coming back from that. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with how I've been, doing, rebounding from that. And yeah, I think we've been on the road every single weekend so far since we've started after that weekend. So yeah, it's been busy. It's definitely been just kind of like throwing all of the new students right into the deep end. But I think everybody's been doing a really good job of adapting and figuring out how these weekends go. And everybody's super helpful every weekend. And yeah, it's been really great. This past weekend we had Lees McRae up in Banner Elk, North Carolina, which is pretty much everybody's favorite weekend. It's my favorite weekend. There are really great race courses there, and there's a lot of competition. Schools from really all over the Eastern U.S. come because it's just such a big event. So yeah, it was really great to do that race, and I think the team did really well, and I think everybody was pretty happy with their performance. There was also some pretty inclement weather, so everybody had a lot of fun sliding around, and maybe not so fun with some weather delays on Sunday. But yeah, all in all, it was a great weekend.
I love how, mountain biking's one of the few sports that celebrates, the bad and strange weather. What were the conditions like for you, Nicole? I know it included a big second place finish in women's A cross country at Banner Elk. Tell us about your weekend.
It was pretty good. I wasn't sure what to expect since I've been like pretty inconsistent since we started the season. But the course is super technical, like a lot of rocks, roots and stuff. So it really suited me. So yeah, I had a really fun time just riding the course, and like it was hard, but I had more fun than at like a lot of other courses that I've done. So I mean, it was a pretty good weekend, and I got to try slalom for the first time. So that was super cool. I had a lot of fun doing that too. And yeah, the second day I just went out and had fun. I was just like not feeling too well, but yeah, I had a lot of fun anyway, and just like watching other people race. And yeah.
Let's stick with you for one more, Nicole, because one other result earlier this fall that got my attention was the team relay team of yourself, Kelly Lawson, Matthew Leleveld, and Owen Clark won the event in Columbia, Kentucky, the team relay event. And, I've seen a bunch of team relay configurations during my years at Brevard College, but naturally the first time I've seen that group, since several of you are brand new to BC. Tell us about that relay in particular and what it's like to race in the relay.
I haven't done many relays, but those two have been super, super fun. That one was pretty hard because I think the first person to go had a rough start. So the whole time we were trying to like catch back up and try to get to the front of the race. And then when it was my turn, I was the last rider and it was my turn to go. I didn't know that we were in second. And I was like trying to pass this girl, but I had never realized that it was like for first until we finished the race. But it's just like the relay is so fun because you just have to like go as hard as you can for a whole lap, one whole small lap. And yeah, it's like different every week. We can try doing different configurations and stuff. So I've really enjoyed the relay a lot.
Tyler, you've been around a lot of racing, throughout your career, but there's nothing quite like collegiate racing. And the team relay is a great example of that, but just at any given event, the way you guys stick together as a group and, cheer each other on and, this whole idea of team competition. Can you expound on that a little bit? Just how special it is to be part of a collegiate team in the sport of cycling?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's so much different from any other sort of racing that you'll ever do as a cyclist. If you go to, a regular race, a non-collegiate event, it's such a more like tense environment, and you're just really like more worried about, your result and your race. But when you go to a collegiate race, there's so many other things that you can be worried about, and you can, just lend a hand at whatever, helping your teammates with bike troubles or giving them advice, and also cheering them on in their race, which really just kind of takes the stress out of your personal race, and lets you kind of race with, a lot more loose. And I think that ultimately leads for, a better race and a better experience all around. But yeah, there's really nothing like collegiate cycling because it's just such a fun team environment, and there's really really nothing else like it in the sport.
Yeah, would you like to add to that, Nicole? I know this is a new experience for you, collegiate racing, but I see a nod in your head that, that there's really something to this.
Yeah, most of the racing I've done has been pretty high stress, and just like the whole week leading up to it it just gets more and more stressful, and just like I always feel really worried when I start the race, and then if it doesn't go well, it just feels like the whole week was not a waste of time, but just like a waste of energy almost. But then with collegiate racing, like even if it doesn't go well, like you're still there to watch your team, and your team's always supportive of you, and it's just like it's a lot more fun, and it makes me want to do it more and more, instead of like feeling bad after maybe a bad race or two.
Nicole, you're out of Hamilton, Ontario, and there's something about, Canadian mountain bike and cyclist aficionados and them being attracted to Brevard College. And it's great to have you with us as well, but kind of a cool pipeline we've got going, between Canada and Brevard College. Can you tell us a little bit about how you found Brevard College, and also, sort of this idea of it being a great fit if you're from Canada?
Mm-hmm. I noticed it first from a couple riders that went there or came here like 4 or 5 years ago probably, and so I would have been in 8th grade, and it was my dream college, and I didn't think I could ever go. And then after I took a gap year last year, a few of the other Canadian people that I knew applied, and then I guess I decided to try doing it myself. And yeah, I think so. It's mostly just like other people doing it. And then I think the Canadians that were here were trying to like really encouraging other people to go because of like just the location and the training environment and the team, and just like everything is really good to make yourself better on like collegiate level and international, which was, I guess, appealing to the rest of the Canadians that came here. So, I mean, I'm really glad that I came here because it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and it's kind of cool, Tyler, that, you look at the roster and the amount of different places, the cyclists are from, not just Canada and, throughout the United States, but, other countries as well, including Spain. It's really a international roster, but, even domestically, you guys are from all different parts of the country, but obviously one thing in common, the idea that you guys love racing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's pretty cool seeing, and meeting people from all different areas. We have a pretty diverse team this year. We've got the biggest team that we've ever had, ever. And last year we had the biggest team we ever had up to that point. So it's pretty cool to see that trend. Yeah, I think it's funny because I think there's a lot of people like from the north that come to school here, and probably because Brevard's pretty nice weather, pretty warm year round, really. So people are kind of trying to look for an escape from, pretty extreme winters. And yeah, that's another big reason why I think so many people choose here, is because you can train year round, and it's just such a great area to grow as a cyclist and as a student, and just like as a, overall human being.
And Tyler, I know you were busy this past summer, on the individual side, at quite a few places. Tell us a little bit what you're up to this past summer on the racing side.
Yeah, so I raced pretty much just cross country mountain bikes this summer. This local kind of series to the southeast here, called the Cane Creek Cup series. Yeah, it's really really fun racing. Pretty like grassroots racing style. A nice community behind all of it. Everybody helps out. It's kind of like, just pretty old school racing. The courses are really good. They're pretty similar to the collegiate style of races that we get. So that's kind of why I wanted to focus on that over the summer, kind of get me really prepared for my last collegiate season. And yeah, just because I really enjoy cross country mountain bike racing the best. I've tried, road and cyclocross and gravel, and I really like cyclocross, but I think XC mountain biking is always where my heart's going to be for sure. And then sorry.
Oh,
go ahead.
Please go ahead, Tyler.
Okay.
Tell us more.
Yeah. I just kind of hung out here in Brevard over the summer. I worked at a bike store here. So yeah, super fun.
Great stuff. And Nicole, you mentioned you tried dual slalom for the first time. This idea of, cyclocross as well coming up after the mountain bike season. Have you thought about that at all, or do you have any experience in that sport?
Yeah, I've actually tried a lot of different disciplines of cycling. I've done track, road, cross, mountain, and I guess now some gravity stuff. But yeah, again, same as Tyler, mountain biking, cross country is definitely where probably one of my favorites for sure. That and track, I would say.
Very cool. Well, just a couple more for you all before we let you go. Tyler, all roads when you're a member of the Brevard College Cycling program point towards those national championships. And that's what you guys are gearing up for, with these events weekend in, weekend out. Once again in Durango, Colorado, a few weeks away now. Can you perhaps give us a message as far as, one, our fan base, but also, perhaps some of the newcomers on the team, just how important the nationals are for this program and, how it's sort of a next level type of experience.
Yeah, definitely. So, their nationals is, that's what we come here for, every year, for sure. The conference races are important, but it's all said and done. Sometimes, it's maybe not so great because a lot of people only maybe look at, your result at nationals, just because that's the biggest one. But I mean, it's accordingly because it is the biggest race. So yeah, you got to make sure you're, on top of it for that. But yeah, that's kind of what we're always preparing for. And whether that means, skipping a conference race here or there to make sure that you're really on top level form for Nats, then that's, just kind of what you got to do. And it's going to be really fun going out there again. Last year we had pretty crazy conditions, as I'm sure a lot of people can remember. So we're, hoping for, maybe, I don't know, maybe people are hoping for the same conditions. Probably more people are looking for a little bit more mild, less snowy, less cold. But yeah, I'm super excited. It's a pretty big unknown going to race at altitude, when you're coming from, Brevard, which is essentially sea level. So yeah, we're pretty excited. I think we've got a pretty powerful group this year. Maybe, one of the most powerful that we've ever had. So we're pretty stoked to see what we can do. I think it's to be a great time.
Awesome. Nicole, I'm sure you've heard from some of your teammates just how cool of an experience it is at nationals. Is it something you're already starting to look forward to and get excited about?
Yeah, I've been pretty excited about it since before I got here, especially seeing the conditions from last year. It looks like it could be pretty crazy. And I don't have a lot of experience racing at elevation, so I'm kind of excited to see how that works out too. And then just, again, excited to spend time with the team over nationals.
Very cool. Before we let you go, would like to ask each of you as far as what you're up to in the classroom. Tyler, senior year, catch us up on what you've been working on and what degree you're heading towards.
Yeah, so I'm a double major with mathematics and exercise science. So I've got mostly math classes this semester, and I'm working on my math senior project, as well as kind of the beginning stages of my exercise science research project as well, which will really be a little bit more heavy next semester, but I'm just kind of getting some things ready for it. So yeah, I'm pretty excited.
Very good. Best of luck with all that. Nicole, I know, freshman year, so don't expect you to have all the answers already, but have you chosen a major or kind of a path in terms of academics, or are you still kind of checking things out?
Yeah, I'm definitely still checking things out. There's a few different things I'm interested in, and I'm not sure which one's my favorite yet. I'm definitely interested in coaching and also business, and then also painting. So there's a lot of different things there, and I'm not totally sure what I want to do, but hopefully I'll end up leaning towards one sooner rather than later.
Well, the good news is Brevard College has opportunities in all those, disciplines that you just described there. So before we let you go, do you want to give you each the opportunity to give any shout outs, thank yous, anyone who's perhaps helped you along the way, who you just like to, say hello to as well? Tyler, floor's yours.
Yeah, I guess I'd start by giving a shout out to Jack Brown, who's a junior on the team. He just had an incident where he broke his ankle, so yeah, he's gonna be laid up for a few weeks here, but we all know that he's gonna come back pretty strong. So yeah, just shout out to him, hang in there, and I guess I would also give a shout out to our coach Bradford Purley. He's the man. He's always helping us out on the road. Also, always taking care of us. So yeah, just a huge thanks to him.
Very good. Well said. And hopefully, Jack Brown, a speedy recovery for you, my friend. Nicole Bradbury, same opportunity for you. Anyone you'd like to thank or give a shout out to?
Yeah, definitely like to thank my friends and family, and especially my parents for helping me get here, and all my coaches, either like provincial level, national, and definitely Brad for sure. He's very good at what he does. So yeah.
Outstanding. Well, great job this evening on Tornado Talk, Tyler, Miranda, and Nicole Bradbury. It's been fun watching the results come in, through this early part of the season. Can't wait to see the action at Nationals in Durango, Colorado as well. And do also want to give a couple shout outs on, the Brevard College Cycling side of things. Some big news items here. One, 2 of your teammates earlier this year made the trip to the World Championships, the UCI World Championships. So a big shout out to Owen Clark and Cole Punchard. Great job representing your home nation of Canada all the way over there in France, and then also, representing Brevard College as well. So Owen Clark and Cole Punchard. By the way, the 5th straight year that the Tornadoes have sent racers to the UCI World Championships of mountain bike racing. And also coming up, homecoming is right around the corner, and there's going to be a cycling member once again inducted. It'll be the 3rd straight year that the cycling program's represented in the Hall of Fame, as Tristan Cowie. Tristan Cowie has been selected for the Hall of Fame. Tristan Cowie from the 2011 class, a very decorated member of the Brevard College Cycling program, part of those early days of, national championships and really getting this thing going here. But congratulations to Tristan. I know there'll be a lot of celebrations that weekend of homecoming, as cycling alums head on back. So want to give a big shout out to Tristan as well. And thanks again, Tyler and Nicole. Great job on this evening's program, and good luck this weekend as you guys continue your racing season.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks for having us.
All right, there they go. And that wraps up another edition of Tornado Talk. Want to thank all those behind the scenes. Lindsay White giving us a hand behind the scenes, also producer Joseph Marvin. Make sure you follow the Tornadoes on Instagram or Twitter at BC Tornadoes. Also, make sure you like and follow the Brevard College Tornado Facebook page. And if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you hit that little bell, hit the subscribe button, and you'll receive all the notifications when the Tornadoes go live. Well, we'll have action for you this week, including football on Saturday versus Greensboro, and we'll bring you all that action on the YouTube channel as well. I want to thank all of our guests this evening from football, volleyball, and cycling. And thank you, NATO Nation, for tuning in to another edition of Tornado Talk